Help! They've kidnapped me. Lady Di, Modern Fairytale by Slobodan, Radojev, Mitrich, Part 3, Contra, Operation Modern Fairytale, Chapter 39. The princess loses her virginity. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The princess loses her virginity. The playboy climbs on the hanging rope ladder to the deck of the yacht. With a bouquet of red roses in his hand, the elder Al-Fayed rushes to meet him. He spreads his arms, they embrace each other. Babo, roses for me, for you, big brat. I have only a knock on your head. Why are you so late? The playboy laughs. And who are they for? The most beautiful woman in the world. The lady in the large suite. I will take the children to the coast. We will only come back by dawn. Go now, Babo, the playboy says. How are you? The elder Al-Fayed detaches himself from his son, lifts the bouquet as if wanting to beat him with it, and pushes the flowers in his hand. Go to her. The playboy smiles and shakes hands with the crew of the yacht. The elder Al-Fayed waves to his son and with a movement of his head signals him to stop this nonsense. Dodi laughs, pulls the stem from the bouquet and pushes the rest in the hands of a young sailor. The elder Al-Fayed frowns. The playboy takes off his white tuxedo and slides it over his shoulders, hiding his left hand which holds the rose under the tuxedo. The look of his father clears up. Satisfied, he nods. Dodi goes downstairs to the large suite and opens the door without knocking. The princess is lying on a big bed, reading a love story. The sudden arrival of the playboy interrupts her reading pleasure. She lays the book on her lap and stares at him. As soon as she recognizes him, she gets up and rushes to greet him. It's you. He bows and gives her the rose. For the most beautiful diva on the planet. The princess blushes as she accepts the flower. Thank you, you're welcome. May I sit down? The princess shows him a chair. Of course. Please do. Dodi walks to the chair, puts his tuxedo over the back, sits down and motions her to sit at the table opposite him. Make yourself at home, he jokes. She laughs and sits down. How come you're here so suddenly? Your dad told me you were in Hollywood. He moves his chair and stretches. I came to Saint-Tropez accidentally, he lies. But when I heard that you were on board my father's yacht, I flew with the speed of light as a swallow here to greet you. I hope you have no objections. She blushes again. Nervously she turns the rose in her hand. No, I'm glad you came. Would you like a drink? He shakes his head. No thanks, but if you don't mind. May I serve myself with the powder from paradise? She presses her lips together and spreads her hands. No one has that. He laughs, gets up and from the inside pocket of his tuxedo takes a silver box and lays it on the table. He looks around the cabin until he notices a small round mirror on the little table beside the bed. Can I borrow your mirror? Go ahead. The playboy goes over to the bed table, grabs the mirror, goes back and puts it down horizontally on the table. He walks to the door and locks it. Diana casts a questioning look at him. Dodi walks back to the table and sits down. I don't want the others to see me enjoying the heavenly substance. You I can trust, I know you'll not tell on me. What do you mean? The playboy opens the box. Takes out a small piece of diametrically folded paper, opens it and pours the contents on the mirror. He picks up a silver razor from the box, starts crushing the white powder and divides it into several lines. You know what this is? No, first-class cocaine. Diana becomes scared and pulls both her hands back. The rose remains on the table. And what if my kids come in the cabin? Don't worry, the door is locked. I know, but how can I explain to them that I'm locked up with a man in this cabin? They're not stupid. Don't be afraid. My Babo took them to the coast to entertain them. They'll only come back when it gets dark and it's only noon. Her face flares up for the third time. He stands up and grabs his wallet from the back pocket of his trousers, from which takes out $100 note, puts the wallet on the table and sits down again. Curious. Diana follows all his movements. He folds the note as if to roll a cigarette and draws the mirror closer. Then he stops the tip of the rolled note into a nostril, bends forward and places the tip of the banknote on a line of the chopped white powder and sniffs. The entire line disappears into his nostril. He moves the rolled note into his other nostril, touches a new line and sniffs the white powder into his lungs. The playboy sits up in his chair. His pupils grow larger. Full of desire, he looks at the princess and pushes the mirror toward her. Help yourself. She brings her hands up to the height of her shoulders and shakes her head. Thank you, but I've never tried it. Dodie stands up, walks around the table and comes close to her. He bends, takes the rolled up note from the mirror and gives it in her hand. Don't be afraid. You'll find out what you've been missing in all your life. Go on. Help yourself. Is it dangerous? Are you crazy? Everyone in Hollywood enjoys this heavenly powder. Try a little bit. If you don't like it, never do it again. Fearfully she puts one end of the rolled note in one of her nostrils, bends and touches the white powder with the other end of the note. And now, you saw how I did it. Close the second hole of your pretty nose with the forefinger of your other hand and breathe in with all your strength. The princess obeys him. The entire line flies into her lungs. He encourages her. Well done. And now again, but with your other nostril. The princess listens to the advice of the playboy. The other line of first-class cocaine disappears from the mirror. He pats her on the shoulder and goes back to his chair. The princess stares at him. Her body is flooded by strange powers. She feels as if she is floating. Everything in the cabin assumes magical colors in her eyes. She desires a strong man, stands up, approaches him and offers her hand. Take me. The playboy gets upon. She presses her body against him. With both hands she grabs hold of him under his belt. I will, he says. Don't worry, I'll deflower you. That's impossible for a woman who bore 2 sons, the princess whispers. That's what you think. He pulls her to a large wooden cupboard. Quickly he puts a hand under her pink silk dress, grabs her panties and pulls at them strongly. The rubber band snaps. Her panties are in his hand. He throws them on the floor. She breathes hysterically. The playboy turns her 180 degrees around. The princess presses her head against the cupboard. He grabs her hands and lifts them up. Hold on to the top of the cupboard. She does what he tells her. He opens his fly and lifts her dress. She protests, "You're crazy." "Sure, be calm, don't cry. The others can hear us." He slowly tries to penetrate her. "Ari, Ari, you're crazy. Ari." He places his open hand over her mouth. "Shh. I told you I will deflower you." Powerfully he enters her. "Ari, SSSSSST." He takes his hand away from her mouth and grabs her breasts firmly with both hands. She loses herself. Asterisk.